Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about something that Lenny James said today with comicbook.com, and it's regarding the Rick Grimes movies and the season 6 finale. And so this will contain spoilers for the season 6 finale. I don't normally talk about spoilers before the episode comes out, but I just want to talk about one scene in particular. I'm not going to talk about who is there or anything like that or how this happens, but I do want to talk about something that does happen in the episode. That sounds vague, I know, but I want to talk about just one event that happens. Just, I won't say which characters are there, but I am going to be labeling which characters I guess we do see, new characters that we do see in the finale. So, because I think there is going to be a connection here, obviously, to the Rick movies. And I mean, that's kind of spoilery enough. Like, there is an Easter egg, there is a connection here in the finale to the Rick Grimes movies. And I think that definitely is set up, especially if you see what happens here in the finale. There is going to be some setup for a future movie. So I want to talk about all of that. So before we go any further, I do have to warn you, obviously, for spoilers for the Fear Season 6 finale, just in that sense, just that one thing. And then for episode 15 and lower, anyways, in the series or the season. And if you are new here, make sure to hit subscribe if you do want more Fear the Walking Dead, Rick Grimes movies content and all that. Like whenever we do get that photo or just the news in general that Andrew Lincoln is filming, I definitely will talk about that. I'm expecting it to happen in July. I've heard that there's some restrictions right now in terms of travel from the UK to like the US and stuff like that. That's supposed to wrap up or go away by the end of June. I don't know if I'm right on that. Like, really don't quote me on that, but I had some people telling me that. So I'm thinking that's what they're waiting for right now. And then July, I think that makes sense. I think start filming in July, yeah, I could totally see that. So as soon as that news comes, obviously I will break down everything that happens. And so, yeah, just make sure to be a subscriber if you want all that. Now, Lenny James did an interview here with comicbook.com, and I'll leave the link down below. But what he said here, obviously, like he was asked about whether or not Isabel's helicopter could rescue Morgan and fly him into the Rick movies in the season finale. And that question there is wrong. Like, we do see Isabel, we do see the CRM. There's nothing to do with Morgan or anything like that, though. But with what happens in it, though, there is obviously going to be a connection, but I'm not going to spoil anything more than that. We do see the CRM in the finale, though, which is really awesome. And so what Lenny James does say here is, I couldn't possibly answer that question. It sounds nice, though. I'd quite like to see that episode, but I couldn't possibly comment on that. What I can say is that there's one more episode to go in this season, and anything can happen in that episode, as we've seen throughout the season. Lenny James, obviously, we know that he would love to work with Andrew Lincoln again. Like, I want to see those two characters together. I hate, like, first of all, I do like their last scene together, but I think the characters have just grown so much since then. Like, Rick, yeah, he only had a few episodes after that scene, but, like, he got, I mean, it was only a year and a half later, but he seemed like he was a lot older just because his hair got a lot more white, but a lot happened to him, right? The Alexandria changed so much. Now with the CRM, like there's just so much there with him, and Morgan has changed so much. Morgan was a mess when he left, and now I mean, Rick was right? Like, you can run and hide, but you can't really, like, you can't run from people. I can't remember what he said, but Rick was right. And so I think that I would love to see Lenny James and Morgan, or Lenny James and Andrew Lincoln back together in a movie. And I think it's going to happen. Obviously, we are going to see them together. It's just kind of how. And there is an Easter egg. There is a scene in the finale where the CRM do come into play. They do rescue some characters, and just kind of what happens next with that, right? Like, what happens next with those characters if they're at the CRM and all of that, because they're going to be there around the same time Rick is there, but I don't think they're going to run into Rick. There's a lot of things there. I talk about it in my review and stuff, and so, like, I'll save a lot of that conversation for that. But what happens, I really do believe, is an Easter egg or foreshadowing of what's to come. Like, they really can't keep teasing this CRM stuff constantly in Fear the Walking Dead if nothing ever happens with it. Like, something needs to happen with Isabel. Like, first of all, Isabel and Althea, there is that love story, and I imagine they are going to flesh that out a lot more in season 7, just because, like, you have to get to the point with that already. Like, so far, yeah, I can buy, like, what happened in season 5. Althea ran into Isabel, they had this connection, this whole love story thing happened, but because of Isabel's, I guess, occupation, right, like what she does, it makes sense why they couldn't really be together. But we went through an entire season, like with season 6, and nothing has came of it yet. So I think season 7, 2 seasons later, you got to get to the point with that. You got to start doing some stuff there. If they keep teasing Isabel and Althea's relationship throughout all of season 7 and season, like, you just got to get to the point with that already. You can't keep stretching it out anymore. And I think they probably will do something with it. And it is the key. It is the connection to the Rick movies for sure. Morgan and everyone else, they're going to, I mean, right now they're kind of, with what happened, they're all kind of a mess, but eventually that is what's going to happen. Like they're going to sit down with Isabel. They're going to learn more stuff there because they're going to be curious. Like, where are you from? You have a bunch of, like, if they always ignore that, that's going to be annoying because they're struggling here, trying to build this community and etc. And here's this woman coming and going in this helicopter. Like, they're going to have questions. Where are you from? And like, why? And like, can Isabel even do that? So they're in a tricky situation here where they do have to kind of connect the CRM now. Like, they're kind of forced to do it. And that most likely was the plan, sure. So it's not like it's really the end of the world, but it's just do it now, right? And I do think that's how Morgan's going to learn of the CRM. I don't think he's going to know anything about Rick. I don't think there's going to, like, how I see the Morgan and Rick reunion happening is they find each other by surprise. That's kind of how I see it happening. It's going to be one of those shocking moments like we got, I think it was in the season 5 finale or whatever, when Rick and Morgan were staring at each other there. Morgan just caught Rick. I think he just killed Pete or whatever. And Morgan was like, Rick, I think we'll get something very similar to that. And that's where they'll see each other again for the first time. And it might be years down the road where they start talking again and Rick explains to Morgan, yeah, I haven't seen my family in years. I almost died. Jadis, this woman, whatever, saved my life, and I've been trapped here, or I've been trying to escape. We've been trying to deal with this thing now for years. Maybe Morgan is trapped as well, and Morgan, you know, I guess I can't spoil too much from the season 6 finale, but he has connections and a life there. So I think that writes itself right there. I think both of those two characters teaming up in a movie, that's just, I'll sign up for that easily. Holy shit. To actually have Rick and Morgan in a movie. And I honestly, I just can't wait for this Rick movie. I just want to get this storyline. Like, it's one thing being excited for it and getting all of this CRM stuff, but I want to know what the storyline is going to be for the movies. I just don't know. Like, once we watch the first one, then we can kind of, our predictions for the second and third one will be a little more, it'll make more sense because we know what to expect with the movies. We know what the main villain or the main drama is, or conflict, I guess, is going to be throughout that trilogy. Right now, we have no idea. I don't even know how large in scale they're going to be. What is the conflict with the CRM? Like, why are they such a bad place? I know there's a lot of cure stuff there. There's some weird things that they're doing, but like, there's got to be a lot more. There's got to be some stuff. And I know Gimple did say that they're going to be going into like the behind the scenes of the apocalypse kind of thing. So I imagine there's going to be some info on like how the apocalypse started, how this place secured itself so well, and why. It was probably remnants of the old government and etc., the military. And so they fortified this place here, and it was easy to do early on. That's why there's 200,000 people here. Why they still have medicine and etc. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see how Rick plays a role in that. Because the whole story with Rick right now is that he is just this, he's a random guy. I know all of us think he's a superhero, but he's this random guy just trying to survive. And he's a dad, right? He's trying to fight for his family. How does he rise in the ranks and like fight this ultimate villain of the CRM and etc. and try, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of my impression of the movies anyways, but how is all of that going to play out? Because they're all going to have to learn Rick's name eventually. Like, they're all going to have to know who Rick is. This guy took down the CRM or whatever the hell he's going to do. He somehow needs to rise in ranks, somehow needs to rise up there. And why doesn't anyone just kill him? The CRM, they dispose of people. They would just kill him. But unless he really kept to himself at first and he's trying to know the CRM, learn as much information from Jadis as he can about everything. Like, I have so many questions, honestly. Like, I should just do a video on all of the questions. There's so many things that I want to know about this Rick movie that I should literally just do a video on. I don't think I've ever done a video on what about this? What about this? And like, how is Rick going to do this? I've always talked about the very general things. I haven't actually, yeah, that could be a fun video to do if I can write down some more ideas here. Like, stuff that people aren't thinking about regarding the Rick movie, because it's weird that we're not talking about it more, but we don't have any information about it. That's the thing. Like, if we got a trailer, a lot more to talk about then, right? We don't even know the setting. We don't know if it's going to take place outside. I keep picturing it inside a facility or they're like outside in a city. But like, who knows? They could be out in the woods. That'd be a little weird, but never know. So I'll leave it here. Post all your thoughts down below. What do you think is going to happen with the Rick Grimes movie? And how do you think Morgan could be, I guess, brought into that trilogy? Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.